The Battlefield 5 May patch is dropping tomorrow, Thursday the 23rd, and I've got all the patch notes right in front of me. We've got some big changes to discuss and walk through, and that is definitely not an overstatement. There's some big stuff happening in this patch, so no more preamble, let's get right into the bullet points. First of all then, new Firestorm locations. We have 2 new images of 2 of the 3 new locations being added to the map tomorrow. We have Watchtowers and Blue Forest. 3 new watchtowers are being added to the southwestern coast of the map between Baldar's Point and Guderos, which can be explored by players. The significance of these towers is not yet known, but it's obvious that the strategic value of the Halvoy Peninsula has been re-evaluated. And then the Blue Forest. It's a secluded area located to the west of the main lake, towards the north of the map, near the road crossing. A sudden bloom of blue flowers has occurred, which is speculated to be linked to recent geological activity, leading to an early spring in the region. Now, the third location, Evacuation Site, that's located to the southeast of the current Pluto dig site, but no one knows why it suddenly appeared. The second thing we need to talk about is soldier visibility. This is something I covered in a video a few weeks back now, shortly after the last patch that the game received, but if you missed that video, I'll quickly run over what's going to change. Battlefield 5 is about to see some improvements that are going to help players stand out in darker and brighter environments from their background, and that should really help trying to identify if a certain path or a room is clear for you to move into. A massive issue that Battlefield 5 currently has is players proning on the ground and seemingly just becoming chameleons and blending in so well that you just run past them and then they shoot you in the back and kill you. That's no fun for anybody, and DICE is trying to rid the game of that current activity. However, and this is an extension to the soldier visibility that we spoke about in my previous video, just reading through the patch notes, I spotted something really interesting. DICE is going to introduce a legacy visibility feature that's been present in multiple previous Battlefield games, and it often helped to distinguish friendly players from enemy ones. Once this patch goes live, when you look directly at an enemy that is within 8 meters of you, the enemy player's name tag is going to appear above their head. Now this is a big change, even if it seems very small. Battlefield 5 has previously made strides to remove passive spotting from the game, but it seems that is somewhat coming back with this reintroduced legacy feature only for extreme close quarters gameplay. The player needs to be within 8 meters of you, and you need to be looking almost directly at them. Now, I assume this is mainly being introduced to cut down on the amount of times that you run past players, blending into their surroundings very close to you, that you have no idea they're there. Now you're going to see a small name tag appear if you're looking nearly directly at them, to let you know there's an enemy right in front of you, and you should probably shoot them. You're going to have to let me know in the comments if you think this is a good decision or not. This might be a small change overall, but it's going to have a massive impact on Battlefield 5's gameplay. Next up in the patch notes, we've got some gadget changes. Again, if you saw one of my previous videos earlier last week, you'll know about a new feature being added that's going to allow you to take health or ammo from medics or support players who've got their crates equipped in their loadout. Crates, not pouches. You might remember me also saying that there would be more changes coming as well. Well, we now know what those other changes are going to be, and they do make for some very interesting reading. The ammo and medic crates in the game will now inherit the soldier's running speed to increase the throwing distance. The throwing speed is now also affected by the pitch angle to enable higher arcing throws. Now that's a strange explanation for something quite simple. This is something we've seen in previous Battlefield games, like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, where if you were sprinting and then you threw a crate out in front of you, it'd fly forwards at some speed and then drop down onto the floor. It meant that before you reached a location that you wanted to put a crate on the ground, you could throw it out in front of you and then it'd land there, ready for you to stop onto it. I used to combine that throw with a jump to get a really high arc on the throw, so that you could chuck it out across to somebody who might be a little bit further away from you. And extending on that, crates will now also attach to the terrain when landing, so they'll always land the right way up. Next, we've got some specific changes to the medical crate, and trust me, you're going to want to listen to these next couple of minutes. When the medical crate is selected and held in the player's hand, the crate will heal nearby friendly players within a 2-meter radius. This effect is interrupted for 2 seconds when you take damage, and it's interrupted for 1.5 seconds when you're being suppressed. Now that is a very, very big change, and it's another throwback to previous Battlefield games, although with a slight twist. Now when you're running as medic, you'll have a chance to passively heal players who are close to you. Or, if you reach a friendly player who's taking cover, you can take out your crate, hold it in your hand, move close to them, and you will apply passive healing to that player. Crates have passive healing back in Battlefield 5. We last saw this in Battlefield 1, and it was taken away in Battlefield 5 because you would need to move up to the crates, interact with them to get a healing pouch. You can still do that in Battlefield 5, but the crates now have a passive aura around them that will heal players when they're close enough. And just to clarify, when you deploy the crate on the ground, that healing aura will remain with a 2-meter radius. It will still be interrupted for 2 seconds when taking damage, or 1.5 seconds for being suppressed, but it will still have the healing aura around it. You don't have to interact with medic crates anymore. You can just move up to them, and it will start passively healing you. This really is a throwback to previous Battlefield games, and it signals quite a change in the direction from DICE here. It's almost an admission that the attrition and physicality elements of Battlefield 5 haven't quite turned out as well as they'd hoped. And as time's gone on, I've enjoyed attrition and physicality less and less. So the introduction of aura-based healing back into Battlefield 5, that gets a thumbs up from me. If you stand next to those crates after the patch goes live, you will be passively healed once again from a medic crate. The ammo crates in the support class, they haven't received the same treatment yet, but DICE has said that these crate changes for the medic class are just the first for the moment, and more may be coming in the future if they're needed. However, if a support player has an ammo crate equipped in their loadout, then just like medics, players can now take ammo directly from a support player if they want to. Right then, moving on from gadgets, let's talk about some weapon buffs and nerfs. The brand new P08 carbine, that's getting some changes. DICE has improved the firing animation whilst using iron sights, so they don't block the screen as much anymore. They've reduced the recoil of the weapon, and they've sped up the recoil decrease per shot as well, and they've disabled the ability for you to use it whilst you're swimming, which was previously not intended. The Commando Carbine, the suppressed bolt-action weapon for the medic, that is getting some much-needed buffs. The 2-hit kill range, that's been lengthened from 30 to 50 meters. The lethality of a 1 headshot, 1 body shot combo, that's been increased in distance from 50 to 75 meters. That's quite a big buff. The muzzle velocity, that's been increased to 350 meters a second standard and 400 meters a second if you're using the high velocity bullet specialization, and the suppression per bullet, that's been decreased. And then the LS-26, the new support class weapon, that's had a resumable empty reload feature added, which it was previously lacking. The ported barrel specialization has slightly been reduced in its effectiveness, and the recoil pattern, that's been changed. For every single assault rifle and SMG in Battlefield 5, DICE has improved the accuracy in sustained aimed fire from the second shot that you fire. For sidearms, DICE has improved the unaimed accuracy during sustained fire from the second shot, except on the revolver. So now, follow-up shots in hip fire from everything apart from the revolver should be more accurate than before. And then, the revolver specifically, DICE has increased the deploy time from 0.65 to 0.7 seconds when you're using the swings and swivels specialization, and that's going to make it take a bit longer to switch to your sidearm, and that emphasizes it as a heavier sidearm option. And lastly, to finish up the video, some more general bug fixes. DICE is claiming to have fixed the bug where you remain stuck in the death state and you're unable to move or do anything. It remains to be seen if this has been fixed totally, but we can hold out hope. Landing rolls can now be triggered with the jump button, as well as the crouch button, which on all platforms will be an easier button for you to hit, and the landing roll is now time-based. You're going to have to hold the button down as you hit the ground to activate the roll. Previously, you could just hold down the button at any point during your fall, and it would trigger the roll at the bottom. DICE felt that was too easy. Now you need to do it when you're about to hit the ground. The scoring bug that was introduced in the previous patch has been fixed. Enemy hit should now only go to a maximum of 100 points when you're aiming and shooting at just one player. If there are multiple players hit, then the value could go above 100 points. And now, all weapons earned through class progression are properly unlocked, even if a player quits before the end of a round. So, overall then, a pretty fun-filled patch for Battlefield 5. Those medic changes I think will have a massive effect on gameplay, and in a few days, if we start seeing more medics running around with crates in their hands, as opposed to pouches, we'll know the effect has paid off. Tomorrow, when the patch goes live, I'll be trying to unlock the brand new Boys anti-material rifle, and I'll be visiting the 3 new locations on the Firestorm map as well, so stick around for those videos if you're interested. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.